This African lady posted about her American Airline experience. In her comment section, I believe that a lot of the people that were in that comment section were people in my group, ethnically Black Americans, right? I believe that there were a lot of us down there letting that lady know that her stroller wasn't a typical stroller, right? Siding with American Airlines. Let's get into it. What's up, ladies and gents? Social Nurse here. I really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for stopping by. Consider putting a comment in the comment section. Now, we know that here in America, as well as other nations, immigration, deportation, and people being unlawfully inside countries that they don't have proper documentation concerning being there is a hot topic, right? It's not just America. Other nations are deporting people and giving people a boot, right? You know, at one time in America, and I'll get to the point of what happened to this lady. At one time in America, if you were racially Black and you had maybe an African accent or a Caribbean accent, or maybe even a certain name, right? Maybe an African name, right? There were things that could favorably go in your direction, believe it or not. That was the context in the matter in which immigration was used in the United States. Whether you can believe it or not, racially Black immigrants in a lot of cases, many cases, were exploited. That's why you all were told ethnically Black Americans were lazy, right? But the lady in this clip had an accent, and I'm not sure if that had something to do with her treatment, if her skin color and the accent had something to do with her treatment. You know, the climate in the United States is really, really delicate concerning immigrants, right? But she shared with us her experience at the American Airline check-in counter. Her stroller was denied access, meaning she could not board the plane with the stroller, right? She noticed that other women could board with their child's stroller. So she records herself sharing her experience. It's posted, and the comments section, it was not probably what she expected, right? I don't know if she knows what's going on concerning diasporas, Africans and Caribbeans. Racially Black people are, kind of being anti-Black American, right? Many of them have shared that they were raised that way by their racially Black immigrant families, right? So ethically Black America feels some sort of way about it. Now, whereas I believe that lady should have been allowed to get on the plane with that stroller, although it is not the typical stroller, right? Because we've learned that stroller is actually an assistive device type stroller for her child who has mobility issues, right? So I'm not sure how old her child is, right? She referenced it as a stroller, but I see it more as a medical assistive device because her child has mobility issues. It would be like a wheelchair or something like that, right? But I guess, she's probably shocked by the comments because the sympathy and the empathy that would have been there in the past did not exist, in my opinion. So I'll say this, that lady can get a lawyer, and she might win a lawsuit or a settlement, some sort of monetary reward for what happened to her, because there's something in America called the American Disability Act, and accommodating those with disabilities, right? We understand this. If I've not said so, Social Nurse here, thank you so much for stopping by. I don't think in any broad mass way, racially black immigrants are going to see a lot of ethnically black Americans offering a lot of support, right? Because we know that there are a lot of ethnically black Americans that have voiced, no protest and all of this stuff. Whereas you'll see like a racially black person saying, why are black people not willing to speak up against it? And the person that's typically saying that has some sort of immigrant background, right? They'll say, well, Africans and Caribbeans are getting deported. And that's true. I'm going to do a couple of videos on that. But the difference is they're immigrants, and many immigrants have been, very, very kind of braggadocious when it comes to speaking against ethnically black Americans. So with that said, this lady had no clue, right, that her comment section would turn out this way, right? And I'm not saying there weren't any people supporting her, but I don't think she expected this, because typically ethnically black Americans have been a type of group that have embraced racially black people no matter where they are from. Actually, ethnically black Americans have been kind of triggered from the past 10 years of hearing different racially black groups from outside of America immigrate here and have awful things to say when their homelands are wrecked, right? But maybe we'll see what else will happen with this lady, right? She can get a lawyer and maybe get some money, but it is what it is. They should have allowed her to take the stroller on. And my understanding is she had documentation, right, about that stroller, which looks more like a wagon. But those American Airline agents at the customer service check-in did not give a rat's behind. Social Nurse.